name is Han, and as you know, in the first presentation of this course, I am majoring in marketing. What I would like to do in the future is leverage cross-departmental assets in order to create a thought leadership platform to reuse or revise the downstream marketing in order to create revenue, something like campaigns that really, move the needles. Yeah. Well, let me show you what's happening on your head right now. And then you might turn to ask me this question. So what I just throw out there is a bunch of jargons. I feel guilty, and I know that you all feel guilty sometimes, abusing a lot of buzzwords and cliches at work. However, it turns out that abusing these terms and phrases can seriously hurt your credibility. These words normally really annoying and confusing, sometimes meaningless. When you're commuting with people, busy people in this, business industry, they normally don't have time to decipher your messages. So, I'm here today with you guys to figure out how to use jargon for better business communication. It seems ridiculous that I'm not a native speaker standing over here and trying to tell you guys how to be better at communication, but here I am. I believe that there's always room for improvement, no matter who you are, what you do, and I believe that we will walk through this journal all together. So our agenda today will include understanding what jargon is, why business jargon remains popular, how business jargon affects business communication, and lastly, how to use it appropriately. So let's take a look at the definition. According to Potter Annual, in his article named "What is Plain Language? 5 Ways to Overcome Workplace Jargon" in 2017, jargons are special words and expressions that are used by a particular profession or group and are difficult for others to understand. So jargon can be found in a variety of fields, from education to law to engineering. A couple of examples are paradigm shift. This is a term in business meaning an important change. Or cached in computing, it refers like a place for short memory storage. And stat in medical, this term normally used in medical context, meaning immediately. For example, call the doctor stat, that sort of thing. Another variety of language is slang, really similar to jargon. However, according to PDR.com in 2015, slang are words that used widely in informal speech and writing, but are not accepted in formal use. So these terms are like a language for the moment, really short-lived and really popular among young people. Couple of examples are bae, before anyone else. No shade, I'll do this. Okay, and YOLO. So in terms of the scope, we're gonna talking about the business jargon. According to businessterms.com, business jargon concisely illustrate a common point or business situation. Couple example: bandwidth, the physical and or mental capacity. Running up the flagpole, a way of asking someone to suggest an idea to see what reaction is. And circle back, discuss an issue which you already discussed before, but normally we haven't figured out the solution. Business jargon recently developing really rapidly, and even the people in the field, they can't keep track of the words and they don't understand what they are. So couple websites are created for people to look up for jargons. One of them are businessjargons.com. So we already understand what jargon is. Let's see how often people use them. According to a research named 12 Ridiculous Phrases Smart People Avoid at Work of Janet Burnett. I'm not really sure if I'm saying this name right. So 36% of people drop industry word every day at work. 28% of them use it every day. 15% of them use it once a week, and really small amount of people rarely use it or don't use it at all. So clear communication, authenticity, and transparency are the key for well-organized businesses, and jargon are the enemy of clarity. So why do still so many companies, using corporate speak when the downside is really obvious? I decided to divide the reason into two main different categories. The first one is people use business jargon consciously. So often, jargon creeps in the business when the leader tends to feel uncomfortable admitting that they don't have an immediate answer for a solution or for an issues. Often, people also want to feel like or to look smarter or hide insecurity by using bigger words. Also, professionals usually use jargon mistakenly as well. Sometimes maybe they are just too young, trying to impress, or sometimes they just plainly have a mistake while trying to communicate clearly. Some instances, there's a false perception that jargon can protect your company from some legal issues, yet what really hurts your company is a really plain or detached or emotional flag and vague messages. So the way how we use business jargon always unconsciously as well. So also the same research of Jane Bennett, 40% of people, say that they use business jargon without aware of that. It come out as a habit. The rest is for fun or to secretly test people, a simulation purpose, come out as intelligent and avoid the questions. So the use of verbal shortcut normally is the way that you want to convey your point, but without pausing to think about whether or not the correct point is being conveyed, or whether or not the convey is worth the point is worth conveying at all. This is really seriously impacts to the business communication. Jargon sometimes confuses the masses and causes the receiver loses the interest. So a specific task, when you replace it with really vague expression, normally if you're doing so, you will grant the text more magnitude than it deserves. And if you can describe an activity clearly or plainly, normally it doesn't sound achievable for your employees, and who will be interested to do the task then? Second, jargon can waste time and money. When the documents or email take longer to understand or to read, normally people will grow frustrated. And time can be wasted when there are a lot of unknown terms have to be explained or have to be interpreted incorrectly, and it will lead to an errors of deciphering, which will lead to the next error in follow-up action. Business opportunity may be lost along with potential money-making possibilities when jargon is misunderstood. So the use of jargon maybe leave people in the dark when they don't know what's going on, or when you use jargon too often, the audience will tune out for sure. So how to use jargon appropriately at work then? From the perspective of speaker or writer, first we should analyze our audience. So jargon are meant for people to communicate, faster or more efficiently when you communicate with people inside your inner circles. But if you communicate with people outside your circles, this definitely will confuse them for sure. So analyzing your audience will help you to discover information about them. So for that, you can use that to build common ground between you and the members of your audience. Once you gather all that information, it will benefit you to know and to finalize, summarize all of the findings that you find. And from that, you can select the language or structure that is the best for your particular audience. Next one, always ask if what you have said being understood. Don't assume that everybody's understand you, because your frame of perception may be different than theirs, and react considerately if that's not the case. Also, be prepared to state to word your statement differently as well. It's really important to remember that go for the simplest statement or the facts first. Avoid the cliche or empty statement. If you have to use technical jargon, and there's a risk that your audience may not have share the same knowledge as you do, signal them that you're going to use the jargon, or reverse back to the basic one. For example, instead of saying this, to solve this problem, we need a paradigm shift. Just saying that in order to solve this problem, we need to think differently. Or instead of saying that, the new technology that we have purchased is bleeding edge, just trying to say this, the new technology that we have purchased is innovative. And only use jargon when you fully understand, mean, and will put it into actions. Surprisingly, a result showing that a research showing that 88% of people say they use jargon without understanding it, and 60% still saying that they still use it multiple times. Trying to think about one, to come up as really strategy. Just use your plain language that you understand and convey your primary idea. Lastly, do some perspective taking. So think about the recipient of your communication. Will they understand the word that you're using? Or, what impression that your style of communication will do about you? And from that, I know that it's really hard to change your communication style, but especially in, written communication, you will have opportunity to read over and ask yourself if you, conveying idea that people can easily to understand or not. From the perspective of listener or reader, don't act like you know. So a small misunderstanding might be compounding if you let them to do so. Ask the question. I know it's hard to, ask people for clarification when you feel like you have to know everything that they're talking about. But in those situations, it's worth it remembering that even that you master a problem, but it never be hurt to ask more for that. People actually, when you ask more questions, it shows that you respect their time. And if you push off this question for later, it won't happen at all. But it also set back your effort. So it's best to ask and those questions right away. Okay, so this lesson is really simple. Straight language normally always clearer, more effectively, and always from jargon. So if you want to look for a rule of thumb, just ask yourself that will you use the same language to talk to your partner or your neighbor? Imagine in telling your husband or spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend that, hey honey, I'm sorry, I don't think I have a bandwidth to pick up store groceries today. I don't think it's written on my radar today, And regarding to double date with your sister, I think we should circle back. It seems like we have some pushback from this idea of concert, Well, maybe we should, run something else on the flagpole. Well, good luck with that and enjoy sleeping on the couch. So, as we discussed so far, we understanding, definition of jargon, why it's popular in business communication, and the effect of that to business communication, how to avoid it. I don't, expect that you guys to remember all the things that I have discussed so far. What I want you guys to take out of this is, jargon itself won't make or break your business. Remember, just like French fries or SUVs, jargon itself is not inherently bad, but people overuse it, and people fail to recognize the real time and places to, use it, give jargon the bad name. So look at your audience, go and tailor your message accordingly. Thank you for listening.